Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and welcome to part 2 of Knuckles Chaotix. The controls for this game are weird because C is used to jump, and B is used to hold your partner and carry them, and A is used to summon your partner. So I changed the controls in King of Fusion so that it was A to jump like it should be, and X to summon the partner, and then just kept B as it was because it was easier to remember. So, there's Espio the Chameleon. He really doesn't look like a chameleon, does he? I mean, if anything, he looks like, not really a unicorn, but he does have a horn on his head. I'm pretty sure chameleons don't have horns, so you really couldn't tell these chameleons just from looking at him. In Sonic Heroes, oh yeah, he just changed colors right there. Okay, never mind. But in Sonic Heroes, he can actually change colors to turn invisible and walk around like that. And that's used for some missions in the game where you need to be stealthy. But in here, it's literally just an aesthetic thing. It doesn't actually help you. So, we completed Techno Tower, which is the most vertical level in the game. And I like Techno Tower because it's the most intuitive level to beat, because you just have to keep going up. The problem I have with most of the levels in Knuckles Chaotix is that it's really hard to figure out how you're supposed to get to the end of the level. I don't mean as in the ring tether mechanics are too difficult, because once you figure that out, you pretty much got it memorized, and you feel pretty smart for knowing how to play through the game in spite of the ring tether mechanic. I think it's a unique idea, but it can sort of drag the game down a little. My point is that sometimes it's not just go right, you know? Like in most Sonic games, generally the goalpost is to the right of the start of the level. It's not like you're always going right. Sometimes you'll go down and left, or up and left. And that's one of the things that Sonic 3 Knuckles did to make its levels as long as it did. It would make you go down and left, or up and left, and instead of just making you go right. And another thing it would do is that it would do a sort of Pac-Man thing where it would make the screen vertically wrap, so that if you use debug mode to go up for a really long time, then you would loop around to the downmost part of the screen. So it used those tricks to make its levels as big as it is. I'm really glad that the levels in Knuckles Chaotix aren't that big though. That's a cool thing you can do with Espio. You can walk on the walls. I heard that you can walk on the ceiling with him. I wasn't able to do that. Maybe it's some really unintuitive controls. Anyways, the bonus stages suck because they're always losing rings when you're in them. Why? That completely ruins them and destroys your motivation for going into them. All the bonus stages are good for is getting points. And you don't need points because look at the bottom left corner of the screen. There aren't any lives. This is one of the platformers that had the good sense to remove the live system. And as a result, I hate the way the goalposts look in this game. They look straight out of a kindergartner's color drawing. But anyways, the game doesn't have a live system, so there's literally no point whatsoever to getting points because it's not about getting continues or lives. You have no reason to get any of them. Yeah, I didn't get a special stage because it didn't have 50 rings at the end of the level. You need 50 rings at the end of the level to make the special stage ring appear. It's just like in Sonic 1. So, this game's special stage access system, its special stage system isn't entirely original. I mean, the special stages themselves definitely are. But when it comes to accessing them, and the special stages themselves don't have entirely unique ideas. So now I'm playing as Mighty the Armadillo. And I don't know if it was Mighty himself, but an armadillo was considered for the mascot of the Sega series. But they went with a hedgehog because he looked more badass. He's basically the Sonic equivalent of this game. And that's why he's my favorite character to play, because he's so fast. or I think it's called Botanic Base. Botanic Base. I love this level. One of the main reasons I love this level is because of the music. This is the theme of Knuckles Chaotix to me. Like, I like the music of the intro stage, which is called Door to the Summer, or Door into Summer in the sound test. The Door into Summer sounds great, but this is the theme of Knuckles Chaotix to me. Like, I love this song. It just makes me so happy hearing it. And look at how fast they're going with Mighty. This is awesome. This is why I'll be playing as him for most of the game. Because I like playing Sonic games to go fast. Jump and then hold the climb button. Jump and then hold the A button when you're next to a wall. And you'll latch onto the wall. And then what you have to do on the wall is you'll hold up and press A repeatedly. And then you'll jump up the wall. I didn't know this at first though. So when I first tried to wall jump with him, the first couple times, I would just jump off. I would just jump off the wall, and then I would go flying all the way to the other side of the screen, which usually isn't that helpful. We don't really know Mighty's personality. Yeah, I failed at that special stage. But anyways, this game doesn't really give the characters that much personality aside from the idle animations. Like Sonic 3 and Knuckles had their own cutscenes to them. This game doesn't really do that, which I'm thankful for because I hate sitting around waiting, doing nothing, while there isn't even any dialogue on the screen. I mean, if this cutscenes in Sonic 3 and Knuckles had dialogue, then I wouldn't really mind them. Although I'd still prefer if I was allowed to skip them. But this game doesn't really do much to tell you what the personalities of the characters are. It just has a one-line character description for each of the characters. Like Espio's character description is that he has a bad temper. Which is kind of weird because these days he's more dignified and stoic and doesn't show much emotion. And he's the only sane man to the goofy antics of Charmy and Vector. And this is Heavy. Easily the... Well, no, I think Bomb is the worst. And that's why I avoid him like the plague until the extra video. But Heavy is pretty awful because he's heavy. And so he drags you down and makes it even harder to go through the level. And if you use a cheat to play as him, he can't climb on walls. And neither can Bomb. So, these are pretty much the joke characters. Heavy and Bomb are called mechanics, like Heavy and Bomb the mechanic. And their story is that they're robots of Eggman that defected. It's either that, I hate that thing so much. I always get carried up by that thing and then it explodes and there's no way I can avoid losing my rings to it. I've lost out on many a special stage because of that thing. I don't like how you have to jump into some buttons to open the way forward. It seems kind of like padding. It's not really all that fun. And I hate these elevators because they don't really... They take a really long time to send you to where you need to go. They're not almost instant like in Launch Base Zone. I mean, if they warp you instantly, then it would be kind of disorienting and you take a few seconds to adjust to where you are anyways. But still, I would prefer it if I didn't have to wait for such a long time. So, Heavy and Bomb have two potential backstories. Either they defected from Eggman and are just not very good at helping, or they're spies of Eggman who are just pretending to be defecting from him. I like to think it's the latter, and that they're intentionally screwing you over. Yeah, I transformed into Heavy there because of the power-up I collected. And because of that, I wasn't able to get out of there, and I had to wait until it ran out before I could do anything. You do not want to get that item box when you have a joke character as a partner. Although most of the times, I like that item box, because even though I like playing as Vector, even though I like playing as Mighty, it's nice to switch things up and play as the other character for a change. I hate the fact that the bonus stages are accessed by rings that are hidden in areas, because it can fool a first-time player into thinking that they're special stage rings. And this game doesn't have any checkpoints at all. Literally none. Just like Sonic 2 for the Master System. So if you die, then you have to replay the entire level all over again, which can be really frustrating for especially long levels. And luckily they never had to deal with that, because it's really hard to die in this game. That, and I'm using an emulator. But one of the reasons that it's really hard to die in this game, because, well, first of all, when you get hit, you lose all your rings. But yeah, I got stuck here and I had to wander around for a while to figure out what I was supposed to do. And then I went back to an elevator I'd already gone into, and it took me somewhere else. That's what I mean about the levels in this game being kind of difficult to go through. The huge power-up is kind of great and kind of awful at the same time, because you're heavier, and so it's harder for you to walk up walls. It's harder for you to run up walls, and if your partner is heavier, that's a really bad thing, because then it's a lot harder to progress with the level. But if you're playing as a larger character, then you can jump higher. It's not like with Mario where you get bigger, but you don't jump higher. And there's also a power-up that shrinks you, and that makes you jump. It's not like in Sonic CD where either you jump higher or you jump at the same height that you normally would. When you're mini in this game, you don't jump nearly as high. But it's good if your partner's mini, because then it's a lot easier for you to run up walls. Oh god, I hate the way that Mighty's back sprite looks in special stages. It looks really awkward. Like, it looks like an upside down red teardrop. And as you probably noticed by now, Mighty is just Sonic, but with a different coat of paint. And he wasn't invented for this game, because Mighty first appeared in an arcade game called Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. It wasn't technically exclusive to Japan. It had a limited release in North America and Europe, but it was very limited, so most people don't even know it was released there at all. And it was never translated outside of Japanese. So even the people who got to play outside Japan still had to hear horrible Japanese voice acting, where Sonic would literally cry like a baby when he was on the edge of the screen, like when he was about to fall over the edge. I have a lot of problems with these special stages, and one of them is that the camera. Like, the camera does not do well with very high. Like, sometimes the ground will rise up from below you, and it makes it really disorienting. And I hate jumping on a wall and trying to land on a blue sphere, because it's kind of hard to do that. Like, you walk to the left far enough, and then the floor, then the wall. Oh, I hate these sections. The ground just constantly moves up and down, and it's really disorienting. And it's so easy to walk off the edge in these special stages, because you can't see what's directly in front of you. Like, if you've got a pit that's right in front of your character's feet, then you're not going to be able to see it and react to it in time, because the camera is at a position where, like, I would prefer if the camera was higher up. Like, if it was looking down at your character from a little bit higher up, then it would be fine. I was pausing there because I didn't want to miss out on the blue spear. It's so hard to accurately land on blue spears that are on walls. Walking to the left or right to suddenly switch to walking on a floor that wasn't wall before, it's not nearly as disorienting as I thought it would be. It's not like in Lost World where the camera switches instantly from being on a wall to being on a floor. I mean, sometimes the camera shifts faster than others, and that can be disorienting. And another problem I have with special stages is the pop-in. The pop-in is terrible. It can get so bad with the pop-in that it feels like you have to react pretty quickly. Like, did you see that right there? It's literally loading up the walls in front of you. It's very clearly loading as you go along. And it's not just a graphical thing, it's also a bad gameplay design decision, because you're looking forward and what you see ahead of you is supposed to tell you what you're supposed to do next. But you don't really have you don't have much room for reaction time because everything is taking a while to load up. Oh my god, I hate this. I just walked off the edge again because of the camera. Like, if the camera was just a little higher up, then I wouldn't be constantly walking off the edge and mistiming my jumps. The most common form of death in these special stages is going to be falling into pits. Because you don't really have to worry about getting hit too much and losing too many rings. I mean, it's pretty easy to dodge the spike balls and the buzzsaws. It's falling to pits that is the biggest problem. See you in the next part.